أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, we welcome you to uh, lesson 9 of our series. We're in our fourth week of this course of 8 weeks. So today we intend to cover the revision of the past and present tense verbs, which we did in the previous lesson, and introduce one new concept, the subjunctive, one of the modes of the imperfect, and looking at the particles that go with it as well. All right, so this is where we are in terms of the bigger picture. We are busy with the modes of the verbs. So we've done the past and present tense, the verb, and then we've done we're going to be doing the subjunctive mode of the verb today. All right, so to recap, the past tense verb to write, this is how it looks. We said that a verb can be conjugated or broken down into its 15 sort of variations of the way it can appear. So you have, on this side, you have gender, which is we said there's only two genders in Arabic, masculine and feminine. In terms of person, we said there's a third, a second, and a first. Third is basically somebody other than us. So when we're talking about a he or a she or a they or a them, they are people that are not present in front of us. So that's how it's regarded as a third person, somebody or a group that's away from us. The second is to do with like me and you. So me or I is first person, and you on the other side, if I want to address you, I use the second person to address you or talk about you. And then we had the other concept is about number. That number has to do with singular, dual, and plural. And we looked at the main feature of the past tense verb to be all the suffixes, So basically in this one, it was just a fathaya, but here there's a ta, here is a ta, and here is a ti, and here is a tu. So we're looking at things that's happening at the end of the verb. Likewise, in the dual, we find the alif feature coming in here, a ta and alif to show feminine in dual. Here it's tuma and tuma is the same thing. And then the first person is just for both genders, katabna, katabna. All right, then in the past tense, on the third person, we have the waw alif coming in there, and the noon, which is the noon coming in here, and here it's tum and tunna, and here it's na. Okay, so past tense verb always has the suffixes, all right? So feature or the vowel either at the end or one letter or more than one letter at the end of the word. Now, I'm going to show you this in another form just to make our little song that I've asked you to learn clearer. I've hidden the verb itself with this little orange block. So if you can see the feature here, this fatha here is the main thing, the right? In the third person, where this refers to he. And if you want to make they too masculine, you have the fatha coming in with the alif, so that's how you get the ah sound. And here you get a dhamma followed by a waw and an alif, and that's how you get the oo sound. Okay, likewise, if you look at the feminine, now you have a fatha with the ta, so it's at. Okay? Then you have a ta and an alif coming in here, which is a ta, and then here is just a na, short, not na, it's na. Different from this na here, right? This is just a na. Okay, then if you look at the second person, this one was very easy to remember. It's just the tumatum. Here you have the tumatum in the masculine, and you have a ti tumatunna in the feminine. So that one is quite easy to remember. And even the first person is easy to remember, tunana. Okay, tu, na, na. So what I've got in an orange block, you can substitute that orange block with any three-letter verb, like laiba. You can conjugate laiba with these 15 blocks. So it will be laiba, laiba, laibu, right? He played, they two played, and they, plural, masculine, played. Here it will be laibat, laibata, laibna. Laibta, tumatum, ti tumatunna, and tunana. Right, so that's labor, to play. If you take shariba, same thing, shariba, shariba, sharibu, sharibat, sharibata, sharibna. And sharibta tumatum, sharibti tumatunna, sharibtunana. Okay, so this is essentially the past tense that you need to remember. And any triliteral verb will fit in this orange block, and then what's remaining is that suffix that you need to remember, make a note of. Right? So that's the past tense. Let's move on to the present tense and the future tense. We said here there's both a prefix, and these are the four letters, alif, nun, yata. So there's an alif that comes in the first person, the nun comes in also in the first person, and the ya comes in the he, the they, the plural year, as well as a plural year. So the ya comes into four of them, right? And then the ta comes into the remaining. So it's all these are tas in the front. Can you see? Right, that whole group. So the majority is the ta in the front. Can you see? And then the other part of it is there's also a suffix, and the suffix is generally, maybe I'll show you the next my next slide that will show you how, what we're looking for in the suffix. Here is just a dhamma. Here is an ani. Here is an una. Right? So it's that end part of the word that gives you the number and the gender and all the rest of it. Okay, and then we said the future tense is simply indicated by a letter seen, where you just add a seen in front of any of these forms, and you get the future tense that I will write is aktubu, he will write is sayaktubu, right? So instead of is, you say will here, because you're putting a sa in front, right? So that's how you change it to a future tense. And you can even put the word sofa. Sofa is a standalone word, and sir is a joined part of the word. So sir, you have to join to the word itself when you're spelling it. Sofa are two different words. Sofa is a standalone word, and yaktubu is a standalone word to give you the future tense. I've done the same thing here just to show you the features of the present and future tense verb. You can see the alif, nun, yata coming in here, the alif, the nun here, the ya here, right? Ya, and then the ta going in all the other. Right? That's the ta, all the tas, right? Also, what I've done, I've colored the word, the verb, in different colors. So this one is a unique one. It's only for the ya, singular, right? And here the alif for the singular as well. I've just arranged of colors, so I just repeated the yellow one more time. If you look at this dual here, the unique thing is it's got a ya in front and an ani at the end. With an ani, even in nouns, you have kataba, you have the ani coming in as kitab, you have kitabani. So that ani is a feature of both the noun form as well as in the verb form, right? That ani at the end of a word. Then we have the ya with the una. Okay? That's the feature you must remember for they, masculine, plural. Okay, then the ta comes in the feminine of the third person as well as the masculine of the second person. Right? So that's a common one there. Then the star in the front with the ani at the end happens to be common in three of them, which is the feminine, the third person, as well as the you version of masculine and feminine in dual. And then here in the dual, in the plural, we have the year in front here, the noon, and here you have a ter in front and a noon. So they are kind of similar. The prefix is different. Here you have a year, here you have a ter, just to show you a similarity in terms of those two as well. All right, and then you have the alif, the dhamma, aktubu, and here you have naktubu. So any verb that you have now, you can substitute these colored blocks with the verb laiba, shariba, any verb, right? So here we had yaktubu with the meaning writing. If you change it to qara'a yakra'u, then it will be he is reading, right? Qara'a is to read, qira'a is reading. Quran is a book that is read. Okay, so from the verb qara'a, you can change, you can put qara'a in any of these blocks, and you'll get the equivalent, the, the reading version of this table of 15 blocks. If you put labor in that in those blocks, then you have the labor version of he's playing, they are playing, I'm playing, and you are playing. So present tense and future tense, you must remember these two features. There's a feature of a prefix in the front, suffix at the end, which uh, indicates what this is. So this is now there's a little extra in the present tense in that there's a prefix and a suffix. In the other one that we did, the past tense, is only a suffix, and that's a separate table to this one here. All right, now as we segue into the, all right, we're going to segue into the subjunctive just now, but let me just show you examples of the present tense. I think we went over this, but I'll just go through it very quickly again. So you have yaktubu. This is the third person. We're talking of a he, she, and a they, right? They is either two or more than two. And again, it's masculine and feminine. All right, so here we have yaktubu, which means he is writing. Another way of saying this thing here you get this meaning is you put the huwa, which is he, and then here you have the ya agreeing with the huwa, and kataba, the verb yaktubu. So this also means he is writing. So it's two ways of saying he is writing. Because the verb has got a pronoun built in with this alif nuniyata coming in front, you can either remove the pronoun or you can just say the verb with the right alif nuniyata in front, and you've got the pronoun built into the verb, right? So it's in one word you've got the pronoun plus, there's a person doing the action plus the action that person is doing. Right, so huwa yaktubu is the same thing. Likewise, the female version of it is taktubu with the ta in front, and here or, and taktubu agrees, and that's how you get she's writing. Here in the dual, you have the ya in front and the ani at the end, or you can have the same verb there and the huma coming in front to give you they two masculine writing. And taktubani is the feminine version of it. And then the masculine plural is the ya in front and the una there at the end, or you can have a hum plus that same features yaktubu una coming in to give you the masculine plural writing. And yaktubna is the feminine version of it. Okay, then we go on to the present tense verb using kataba in the second person. Here again, we have the ta in front to show you masculine, singular, right? And the pronoun that's equated to the ta is the anta. So this ta here is the same ta that you see here in the front. From there, you get the you version of this particular, the second person in this whole table, right? Likewise, the feminine, remember this unique feature here, this e coming in, or anti. Okay. Here we said the ani comes in. Here it's a una for plural, and then for the plural of the feminine. Okay, so it's that same table we just did. I'm just giving you a short sentence using a pronoun to show you the same table. Okay, then we move on to the first person, I or we. It's very easy. Ana is the I, and here you get the alif showing the person I, and the noon, the nahnu, the noon there showing you the noon there to give you the we. So again, here you have the alif in front and a noon in front and a noon in front to give you the three forms, right? Which is I, the we two, and the we plural. Right? And we said here the genders are both for common. We use it for both genders. Okay, so this is, we are extrapolating from the table itself, just the actual thing with pronouns included in this column here, just to show you how it looks with the pronoun. And here, even if you exclude the pronoun in Arabic, but the actual alif nuniyata gives you the person. Alif is I, nun is we, and the ta is generally you and she, and the ya is he and they. Okay, then we move on to examples in short sentences, right? So here you have the verb you, or rather she. This can be you, she or you, right? And if it's ambiguous, the pronoun helps to make it, to remove the ambiguity. Because here, when you say here, taktubu, then it's not, because anta is also taktubu, remember? So the here says it is, the person that's doing it is she. And taktubu is the verb to write. And risala, and this is accusative because here's the subject, here's the verb, here's the object, right? So the subject is normally nominative case. After what comes after the verb is accusative case. Right? Can you see that? The object or the accusative case is indicated by either a fatha or a fathatain. In this case, because there's no aliyah, you have to use a fathatain, two fathas to show that it is indefinite. That's why it's a letter. If you want to make it the letter, then you'll add an al there and put one fatha, al risalata. All right, then you have an example with ana, right? So here it's ana, ashrabu, to drink the water. Here it's, can you see the word the came in? So therefore this is one fatha here at the end. Yakra'una, we know it's they because it's ya and una here at the end. So you use hum for that. Yakra'una. And then if it's the same book they're reading, and kitaban, sorry, this should have been a double fatha here because there's no al. So it's hum yakra'una kitaban. Na'kulu, the noon shows we. Akala is to eat. Na'kulu is we are eating. Tufahan is an apple. Right? If you put a ha and a ta, hatan, then it will be an apple. One apple is with the tamabuta. This is plural of that word tufah is the, and it's an easy word to remember because you think of toffee apple, tufah, and apple. Right? So that's how you can remember tufah is apple. Think of toffee apple. Okay, then we have jalasa. Here we have the ta in front and an ina coming in. So this is an anti version of it, anti tajlisina. And then here you have ala is on, which is a preposition, and therefore kursi is a genitive case here. So this is a genitive because of the preposition that came before this now. Okay, so these are just examples, general examples. And now let's look at maybe just one more thing I need to make a mention of, that there are three possible vowel signs on the present tense verb for the middle three of the three letters. So if you look at akala, the middle letter is the kaf here, right? In here, if you look at kara'a, the middle letter is the ra. And in this example here, jalasa, you notice the lam is the middle letter. Right? So in the past tense, it looks, all of them just take fathas. Can you see all fathas here? Three fathas. Akala, kara'a, jalasa. What happens in the present tense? Some verbs take a dhamma in the middle. Right? The dhamma there. Here you can see a fatha. Okay. And here you can see a kasra coming. Kasra is under the word. So what I'm showing you is that in this you'll just get used to it. It comes like kind of naturally with time. And the best way to learn this feature is like whenever you're learning a new word, say akala, you learn it like this. You learn this together. Akala ya'kulu. In the dictionary, they'll show it like this. They'll show akala, right? Akala, and then they'll put it as, they'll write it like this, akala. And then after that, they'll put a dhamma. So they'll put a u there. Right? That u shows that when you change this akala into its present tense form, it's ya'kulu. See this u? If it is this one here, the kara'a, they'll put a there, a sound in the dictionary next to the kara'a. And you know, kara'a in the present tense takes fatha, yakra'u. Okay? And in this one here, they'll put a I in brackets after jalasa. And you know that this one takes yaj lisu. So this is just the rule for middle vowel of the three-letter verb in the present tense can be a u, or e. It's got nothing to do with case here, because we said case applies to nouns only. In the case of, in verbs, the dhamma, fatha, and the kasra on the middle letter doesn't mean anything. It's just that there's the rule for that particular verb. Now, here I've given you another example of kataba. Same, it takes yaktubu. Can you see the dhamma there? And shariba takes yashrabu. Now, look at this one. There's no, you see, if you look at this one here, three fathas. This one's got a fatha, kasra, and then a fatha again. Can you see the voweling is different even in the past tense? But the rule here for shariba is that the middle letter takes a fatha. Just certain things I'm just drawing attention to. Don't sweat about it. You'll see it and it will just come to you a second nature with time. All right, and Jalisa, I'll just give you one example, but you can have more examples. So the most common ones is this one here, and possibly the next most common would be this version. This one is a bit not so common, so there's maybe a few examples of that. All right, so that's just drawing your attention to the middle letter, just to draw your attention to it. All right, now let's look at the present tense verb. Some examples from the Quran. Rasulun minallahi yatlu suhufan mutahhara. Now this one here is quite it's a bit of a different word. So the root is tala. If you look at a dictionary, you'll find tala is the way it's recorded under ta, lam, and alif. Right? And then you notice the stalu, the wow replacing the alif. So this alif, wow, and ya are kind of weak letters, and they change sometimes from the root to the past tense to the present tense. They kind of move from one to the other, depending on what the vowel sign is on it, before it, and all the rest of it. So here you look at tala in the dictionary, and yatlu is the present tense. So yatlu, here's yatlu. Can you see yatlu? Okay. And so yatlu means reciting, and because there's a ya in front, we're saying it's they, right? It's plural masculine, not they masculine, because an apostle from Allah reciting. Actually, no, sorry, yatlu is a singular. Sorry, it's not a plural, because he's an apostle, right? It's one person reciting impeccable or very purified scripture, so from mutahhara. So this is an example of he is reading or he is reciting example, right? Yatlu. If you want to add, if you think it was the plural form, then yet luna will come in, that noon. Yaktubuna, yet luna, the noon will show the plural form of this particular weak verb, because the weakness is the fact that it's got an alif waw and ya in it, and from the root, the alif changed to a waw, and that's how this one is a bit different. It's kind of unique in that sense. All right, this verb here, alima, is very, very easy. Ilm, is knowledge. Alima is to know. Muallim is a teacher. So from the same root, you get alima, you get ta'lamuna. Right? So there's your ta in front and your una coming in at the end to show you, plural masculine. Can you see that? The waw, nun and the ta in front. And it's you, right? So it's second person. This one, whether eight and nasa, and you will see people, yadkhuluna. So this is plural, group of human beings, male. Here it's showing you the ya in front and the una at the end to agree with this noun, to say you're going to see people entering in the religion of Allah in groups or waves or whatever. All right, and in this example, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Na'budu is the noun for the first person, we. And na'budu can be either dual or plural, can be even masculine, feminine. Because first person, we said it works like that. Nasta'inu is also the same. There's a noon here in front to show we, but this is a different verb. I won't touch it for today. We'll do it in a later lesson when we're doing forms. Right? This is a 10th form verb. Okay, present tense examples from the Quran, a few more. Kul a'udhu. This is another unique verb. Can you see there's a wow coming in? So the root is ar with the alif. And when you look at the present tense, it changes, the alif changes to a wow. So ya'udhu is the he is seeking protection. And here the alif is showing I seek protection. Say I seek protection in the Lord of Daybreak. All right, in this one here, Sofa Ta'alamun, we said the ta and the una shows the masculine plural. Soon you will know. Okay. And the sofa, we said, is the future tense. Right? In the To show future, we said you can add a sir to the word or sofa as a separate word, and that gives you future tense. Well, okay. Here it's la a'budu, ain, ba, and dal is the root. Ya abudu is the present tense. Can you see this? I'm showing you, I'm doing this because then you can see the middle letter here, the middle letter there, which vowel it takes. Right? So here it's the Dhamma, it comes in the middle. So you get the Dhamma coming in all of these examples. Abudu is I worship, and you are worshipping, right? This the ta and the una here showing you worship or you are worshipping. Mana'a yamna is to hinder or to deny something, right? You get mamnu means forbidden, like mamnu at tadkhin is no smoking sign you'll see in places. Mana'a yamna is to forbid something or deny something. So in the last ayah of Surah Al-Ma'un, wa yamna'una, and they, ya in front, with the una at the end, and they deny ma'un, small acts of kindnesses, charities, very small things. They are so mingy and selfish that they don't want to even give the poor what is due to them, etc. That was what that surah was about. So these are small acts of kindnesses, and that category of people that belie the religion are those that deny even very little small acts of charity. They don't do any charity as it goes. Okay, we did the double verb. Remember the double verbs? I think I gave you this example of da'a yadu'u and hadda yahuddu. Yeah, it's the same principle of the ya coming in front and all the suffixes at the end if you want to make it, like this is a he version, so it's singular. This one also is a he singular, but you can have the una, ani, and all the other forms of the present tense even in a double verb. Okay, now we move on to the new lesson for today, which is the subjunctive mood of the verb. Now, the subjunctive mood is used when you want to imply either a wish or a purpose of doing something. Right? So that's one thing you must just have at the back of your mind. Subjunctive is to do with something you want to do, or you wishing to do, or you intending to undertake or to do. Right? So this verb resembles the present tense verb. Right? So the previous table we did with the alif nun yata, you can see here's the alif, here's the nun, and here's the ya, here's the ya, here's the ya, and then the ta is in this one, ta, 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 ta. Right? So the alif nun yata concept remains the same in this particular mode. The one change that happens is in the previous present tense table we had yaktubu, the dhammaya. Notice what happens here, we just change it to a fatha. So that's the one key indicator you look out for. It shows it's a subjunctive verb. So all the singulars follow that pattern. Can you see fataya, 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 right? All those that are singular in first person plural have the fatha feature. This feminine is unique. It takes a ya, not a kasra with a ya, e sound. So that's the one you need to remember. It's like an exception to this particular, if you look at the column and the rows, that's one exception there. Then here on this side, you notice wherever there was a noon in the previous table, now the noon falls away. Right? So all you're doing is instead of saying yaktubani, you're saying yaktuba. Right? This is they two are writing, but in this particular mode, subjunctive mode. All right, so here you notice the feature, the noons fell away. Here also there was a noon, if you remember, right? It was yaktubuna. Here the noon fell away, but in its place you replace it with an alif. So it's yaktubu, nona. Right? Likewise, here taktubu, nona. Right? So these two are common. Right? The masculine version, the final noon, the plurals fall away. As far as the feminine ones go, it's exactly the same as the previous table. Yaktubna is a na. Right? Here is also a na. Taktubna. Right, so there's a lot of similarity between this table and the previous, present tense table. Again, you with practice, you kind of see the patterns and you'll know what to use where. But you just need to remember the alif nun yata thing is common for all the tables so far. The suffixes side, the one change is this main change is the fatha, and we said the fatha appears here and in these three. Right? So there's three here and three there takes the fatha as a case, not a case, but the mood ending. Okay. With the noons, taktubina, you notice that noon also fell away. There was a noon here, taktubina. So you took the noon, right? You omitted the noon and you just left with the ya to show the feminine. Here we said all the noons fell away. You. Here the noon got replaced by alif, noon replaced by alif, and that those two feminines, the noon kept, was kept there. All right, so three things you need to remember about the subjunctive. It's essentially expressing this here, which we'll see examples of just now, and it will make sense. Then the features of the table, you can see that the alif nun feature remains. Where there's a noon, the noons kind of fell away. And here the noons got replaced by an alif. Here the noons remain. So it's slight change, but essentially you can see the pattern and you can then apply it. Right, so these are the first two things you're remembering. This is the one. Two is this whole table, the way it looks. But the fatha is the main feature that in the singular that you'll encounter. Now, if you look at, again, I've just taken the word kataba out of it. So if you look at here, the alif nun yata, there's the alif here, the nun there, same as the previous table, and the ya, ya, right? And then the ta as a prefix appears in all these again. Can you see that common feature there? The ta is in all of them, the front. Right, as far as the suffixes go, here we said there's fatha, 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 fatha. Right? That's the main feature of this subjunctive mode. Here we said the noon fell away, but kept the ya. All of these four, we said you take the noons away, you keep the alif, and that shows you the jewels. Here, the waw alif, you take the noon out. Here also the waw alif, you took the noon out. And here you kept the noon, and here you kept the noon. And so if you can make a mental picture of this particular table, it will make your life a bit easier, when you encounter the thing in practice. Okay, let's look at now. This is the third part of this verb. And this is what you must remember. The giveaway that the mode is in the subjunctive is one of these six particles. There are six of them. Right? The first one is a li before the verb, like li yaktuba, in order to write. Or you can, instead of just the li, which is the one letter on its own joined to the word, you can say like as a separate word, or you can use k as a separate word. But li is joined to the word. So all three may have the same meaning. It means in order to. Right? Then, if you look at the negative of this form of in order to is in order not to. Can you see the negative here? Right? Now, all you're doing here is, okay, you're adding a la to it. Can you see the K la? K and then a la. So this is in order not to. Okay, even this one. Like, you're adding a la to it. So that's in order not to. The only unique thing is this li doesn't have a li la. Right? So that name Layla or Lila, just remember it doesn't exist in this particular form of where you're converting the positive to a negative form. Right? So there's no Lila, as it were. The li, if you want to make it negative, you have to use Likela or Kela. Right? So that's the one group, these two, in order to or in order not to. The other one is to. So I want to sleep. Huh? So there you would say, you'll use the verb to and anama, the meme, the verb will take a fatha if it's anam, or the alif, right? And that's the verb to sleep, anam. So what I'm saying is this an gives it away that that verb must take a subjunctive mode, and the fatha ending in the singular. Then we have the next one, like to. You have the opposite of to, which is not to, the negative of it. Okay, so here an plus again the la, giving you what is called Allah. Right? It's not Allah, not the name of Allah, like that spelled that way. This is Allah. Right? Alif with the lam alif with the tashdid there. So an plus la give you Allah. So there's your an there, and adding Allah, what you did here on top as well. You just added Allah for these two. Same thing here, you add Allah and it becomes Allah. Right, then the other one is len. Len is just two letters like that, len. Right? It means never or will not. So it's a future tense negative. You use len and then the verb in the subjunctive mode. And then the last one is until. So you can say a sentence like, I will wait until you return home. Right? So that until, hatta, and then here you'll use taraji, which return, taraji, fatha on the last letter to show that it's the subjunctive mode. Okay, so if you can remember these 6 particles, right? Call them particles, right? So either words like this one is joined, but all the rest are separate words to the actual verb that follows. If you see these letters or these words, then you know what follows it is always the subjunctive mode of the verb, and it follows that table I just showed you. All right, now let's look at some examples. How this particle is. It's فتحت الباب لكي أخرج. So I opened the door in order to. خرج is to leave. Right? خروج is exit. أخرج. Can you see this fatha here? Shows you that that verb is in the subjunctive mode because of this particle لكي. And you could have used K or even li. Remember li, likay, and that was the same category of three of them that means the same thing. So you can use li akhruj, you can write it like this, li akhruj, akhruj. The li here, there's your verb, and that's your fatha there at the end. So can you see that? So you can use li, likay, or even k, and then the same rule applies for akhruja. This one, atamanna, means I hope or I wish to. This is the to, right? Azura. Can you see this fatha? An azura Makkah. And Makkah, we said, remains Makkah, right? You don't have a Makkati and all the rest of it. Okay, so atamanna, I hope to, or I intend to visit. Here's your example of the particle with the subjunctive following it. This one, adrusu likeila, in order not to. And this is the li and the keila at the end, right? Arsubba, can you see that? This particle introduces the verb to fail, and here it's I'm studying, and here it's I'm failing, right? So it's, you can see the agreement that I study in order that I don't fail. This one, uridu Allah, so it's an plus la, the negative of that one. I want not to, meaning uqabilahu, for instance, to meet him. I don't want to meet him, right? So this is how you say it. Allah uqabila, and then the who is an attached pronoun. So don't confuse this with the word itself, right? Who is an attached pronoun, uqabila is the verb here. Right, len is the, that saying emphatically never or never will. So the len akula, can you see this fataya? This, I'll just show you this one. Akala, right? Akala is the past tense. Ya'akula, ya'akulu is the present tense. Okay. So this verb ya'akala, ya'akulu, when you want to make it I am eating, this ya'akulu, so what you're going to have is you need to put an alif in front, replacing this ya. Ya is he. So if you want to put an alif in front of another alif of the first of that verb, so technically it should have been like a kalkala. Kul is to say I'm eating. But what they do is, because it's a difficult thing to pronounce this like this, you don't have two alifs together also. What they do is they join this to become right? These two vowels become this sign here, which gives you kula. That's how you get this little wavy little fatha there, which shows kula, and it's still. Can you see the ya change to alif? The ta will still remain ta'akul, the noon will still remain na'akul, but just for the I, you have this anomaly of a fatha or the sukun following it. You can't pronounce it, so they just combine it and you get akula. Right, so len akula is I will never eat the flesh of swine or pig, meat of the pig. Right, the next one and the last one, sa'antaridu. This is I will wait hatta, until tukmila. Now, this one is a bit also I need to explain here. Maybe I'll just write it here because there's a bit of space on this side. Now you have the root Kamila, right? And then you have what, again, this is another lesson. This is a form 4 verb. Just introducing it now because it came in this example. Maybe I shouldn't have used this example too. But then I found this example with hatta, so I included it. So what happens in a fourth form verb? It becomes akmala, right? Akmala. And akmala, can you see the kamala is the root, and the alif in front of it, it becomes 4 letters in this verb. It's a fourth form verb from the first form kamila. And when you change this fourth form verb, which is he completed, you have yuk. This form here, yukmila. Yukmilu. Right? Yukmilu. This is a normal present tense of the fourth form converted. So if you want to change this yukmilu to the subjunctive, you change it from a dhamma to a fatha, and the ya becomes a ta because the ta is the you. Yeah, right? So hatta tukmila, until you complete the letter. So this is different from all these other verbs. If you notice this one was a leaf with the fat. Well, this one was also another form verb. Right? But if you look at, generally we had a fatha on all these verbs. Right? Can you see all the fathas here? The normal three-letter verb, first form will take alif with a fatha, noon with a fatha, ya with a fatha, ta with a fatha. The alif nun yata takes fathas. In other forms like this, uqabila is a form 3 verb, and this one takes a dhamma, to show the difference from the first form. And likewise here, akmala is a fourth form verb, and therefore it takes a dhamma here as well. So these two, this one here and this one here, were like kind of exceptions to the form 1 examples that we used to, and the different forms, and It's just the one vowel change, but essentially the rule is still the same. There's a fatha there, there's a fatha there to show that it's the subjunctive verb. Okay, I think that we've come to the end of our time, so maybe I'll leave these Quranic examples for another day. But if you just maybe just to go quickly through it, there's your li, right? Remember that li, in order to, right? That's in order to. And then here also you have the li row, there's li coming in there. Here you have, again, the lam coming in. And here's an example of hatta. So you look out for those particles and you know the next verb, the word that follows has to be subjunctive. Here it's a oo, here it's a oo, here it's also the o. All right, so this one was a bit different. All right, maybe I'll explain this maybe in detail next time, because as you can see, it's not subjunctive. And here, ta'tiya. Can you see that fatha coming in on the verb ta'ti, to come? Okay, so let me stop there because the time is up, but I'll revise this section once more before in the next lesson, inshallah, so you'll understand it a bit better. Let's end off with wal asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr, innal insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat, wa tawasaw bil haqq, wa tawasaw bis sabr.